Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dude's Brunch. It's a podcast about pop culture, internet garbage, and black coffee. I'm your host, Taylor Olstead, and with me this week, it's my good buddy, Tyler Reed. Tyler, what did you have for brunch today?
Hey everyone, welcome back. Been a little bit of piggy the last few days, so I decided that I'm gonna eat a little bit trim back brunch. So I just had a chorizo pepper, egg, cheese breakfast burrito from Red Tree Gallery right down the street. So, a different coffee shop. And I had a pomegranate Italian soda, which is also very good.
Okay, that sounds like a legit brunch. I can get behind that.
It was very teeny. There wasn't a lot.
You know,
But I remember that I remember the echoes of, I'm not going to take brunch to go anymore. So, I kind of forgot about that role. So, I almost did today. I was like...
Good, I'm very happy for you. And of course, it wouldn't be Dude's Brunch without our resident reggae correspondent, Sean Evans. Sean.
It's very flattering.
What did you have for brunch today?
Well, you had leftover pancakes I had made yesterday. So I was at the bottom of the box, and I was like, well, I'm going to make these. But there wasn't enough for 2 people. There was enough for 1, so I made another little box. So like a sample box of those protein pancakes I was talking about a month earlier. Still
Protein.
All right.
I mean, like, they're not bad. They taste like pancakes. They look like pancakes. But they're not like the plutonic form of pancake.
Did you just get corrected in real time?
What? Hold on. What was they're not a platonic form.
I love that Sarah walking by in the background corrected you.
Pancake. Well, no, because this has been a conversation where I realize that I've been saying this wrong for like
your entire life,
almost a decade now. Where it's like, don't take life for granted, Morty. And Morty's like, granite, and
yeah, it is platonic, as in Play-Doh. That is correct.
Platonic sounds like a tectonic thing.
Yeah, because it's not a long A, it's a short A. It's platonic. Anyway.
What'd you have for breakfast, sir?
Yeah, I'm your host, Taylor, and for brunch this morning, I just had cereal and coffee. Kind of a lame brunch, so I'm going to pull a Tyler and talk about my brunch from yesterday, where I met up with a friend of the show, Lucas Chaffin, to run a 5K, and then we went to an awesome little tea and coffee shop here in Atlanta called Dr. Bombay's Underwater Tea Party, which is...
Oh my god.
It sounds ridiculous, but it's just like a French style like tea and coffee type of cafe, and all of their money goes to support girls in India getting college educations, which is super cool. And so I had a coffee and a pimento cheese sandwich, and it was really good.
What was it called again?
Dr. Bombay's Underwater Tea Party.
Dr. Bombay's Underwater Tea Party.
That sounds so fantastic.
I'll put links in the show notes. It's a really kooky looking place.
I believe it.
It does sound fun.
So, just a small item of follow-up this week. We really only have one follow-up story, but as we were preparing to record today, Sunday, July 8th, Patrick Carney of the Black Keys posted on the Black Keys Instagram a photo from the new Devo book. It's a photo of Devo in their apartment in Akron, Ohio, and it turns out that years later, Patrick Carney lived in that apartment, and one of the photos in the Thick Freakness album jacket from the Black Keys is taken on the front porch of that apartment. So who would have thunk it? 2 famous Akron, Ohio bands living in the same apartment, like 20 years apart.
Devo's actually from Kent, thank you.
Yeah, close enough.
It's not even close, sir.
Everything is a suburb of Cleveland.
Well, I mean, that's the truth, but that's like saying everything is a suburb of Cleveland.
Either way, I just think it was a funny, interesting coinky-dink, and I like both Devo and the Black Keys. So, I wanted to talk about it.
I do want to put it out there now that maybe not everything is so much a suburb of Cleveland now as everything is a suburb of LA.
Oh, because LeBron moved, and so therefore the whole map has to shift?
Right. Okay, he didn't even know. This is the first time that he'd even heard of this. You didn't know, did you?
Of course I knew.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
How could you not? It's been everywhere.
Now they're going to have to call it can't even say it. Lebangelus or something now.
Lebrangelus.
I like that, though.
You gotta get the aren't.
Leblangelus versus Leblacrin. Leblacrin just has a way better roll off the tongue. Leblacrin. I'm going to say that drunkenly like 5 times. Mess it up every single one. Leblacrin.
In all seriousness, though, Sean, did you feel a sinking feeling in your heart when the announcement came out?
Do you mean Did I go online and immediately see if I could find a Los Angeles Lakers jersey that had the name James on the back? Yes. Was I disappointed when they were sold out? Also, yes.
Fair weather fan.
I still like the Cavs, but the man is an icon of the community, so I like him wherever he goes. Same way with Kyrie. And basically now okay, let's take it in the deep real quick, where this podcast doesn't go. Sport ball.
Sports Corner with Sean Evans.
The East is over this year. No one's watching basketball in the East. Everyone's just going to be watching what's going on out West unless something crazy happens between now and like a couple weeks.
My question, though, is how is NBA Twitter going to be this season? Because this past season, basketball Twitter was nuts, and it was amazing to watch as an outsider. I'm wondering if this is going to change the landscape.
Hell yeah, why not? There's a lot of new fun shuffling going on this year, so I expect it'll be fun. Basically, somebody just needs to come with a warrior killer. It needs to be a team that's just the warrior killers.
Is it a wizard?
No, the Wizards are not going to do that.
The Wizards are really bad. Even I know that.
They're not that bad. They're just not like... Basically,
Well, if you can't beat them with brute force, then they have to beat them with magic, right? I mean, it's so clear that...
The East is going to...
Their martial skills are too strong with a magic missile.
I think this year, the playoffs for the West are going to be better than basically everything that goes on in the East. But the Celtics are probably going to make it to the... it's going to be like Celtics and Philadelphia in the East. This
has been Sports Corner with Sean Evans.
Sports Corner with Sean Evans.
So, last week, Sean fell down a rabbit hole during follow-up and started listening to the collaborative album between former Police frontman Sting and 90s one-hit wonder Shaggy. We joked with him about doing a whole episode about it, and I think he thought we were joking, but Tyler and I, we don't play. So this week, we're going to do an entire discussion on 44-876, the collaborative album between Sting and Shaggy. I should say, I know nothing about the background of this record. I'm assuming the story is that Sting and Shaggy are just really good friends, and that's how this happened.
Hey, what I know from what Spotify told me, because it tells you little factoids when you listen to the album, it said that apparently they just met in 2017, and they really hit it off.
That's not even a good enough explanation for this pile of garbage.
You're like, that's a really bad story. Like, that's not even...
It is a really bad story. It's not good enough to justify what I sat through today. 44-876 is 42 minutes and 52 seconds of the blandest adult contemporary reggae I have ever heard in my entire life.
Is that what the fuck why it's called that?
Wow.
They couldn't think of a single...
So,
jeez.
The album is called 44-876 because 44 is the country calling code for the United Kingdom when you're calling it on the phone, and 876 is the code for Jamaica.
Great.
Because it's all about the fusion of London and Jamaica. As in, Sting is from London and Shaggy is from Jamaica, and the album was recorded in New York. So, you know.
And they probably shared a pizza at some point during recording that album. So it's also got a little bit of Italian spice in there.
That's right. And of course, this album came out on April 20th, 2018, 4/20. Because if I'm Sting and Shaggy and I have to pick any day of the year to put out my adult contemporary reggae album, you best believe I'm going to put it out on 4/20 Blaze It.
It takes less than a minute for a rap air horn. Let's
Well, so, yeah, now that I'm done just dunking on the concept of this record, let's actually talk about it, right? So, there are 12 tracks here. I've listened to the album all the way through at least twice. I know Tyler's listened to it all the way through at least twice. Sean, you've listened to bits and pieces of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're not going to go track by track through this thing because honestly, so much of it sounds the same. I know Tyler and I had some standout tracks that we wanted to talk about, so I guess maybe we'll start there and then just kind of see where things go. But if it's all right with you guys, I wanted to start with the first track, the title track, 44,876.
Great.
Now, I listened to the whole album once, and then I read Pitchfork's review, and then I listened to the whole album again. And Pitchfork actually had a surprisingly well-written review of this. I usually don't like their reviews. But they were saying that the first track on this album has this like contemporary dance hall feel that a lot of like top 40 radio stuff has right now.
Mm-hmm.
And while that's kind of like out of step with who Sting and Shaggy are as people, it makes it the most interesting song on the album. And I kind of have to agree. Like, there are some problems in this song. Sting's fake accent in parts of this song is really bad. It's also one of those reggae songs that just talks about how good reggae music is, which is my least favorite kind of reggae song. But I actually kind of like the production on this, even with the air horns. I know Tyler was just giving it shit, but like, it's reggae music. It's dance hall. Like, you can have some air horns. I think that's fine. I kind of dug this song.
I mean, I was like, I was just so brought so immediately out of it, right? I was like, I mean, it's 18 seconds into the song, and I'm like, okay, this is slapping. I can get on with this song, and it's like, I'm like, all right. I mean, I was gonna nut, but I'm not anymore.
How did you feel about this, Sean?
I thought it was fine. I mean, my first critique is always the critique that I'll have for everything, which is no song that is rock and roll or hip hop needs to be more than 4 minutes long. There's just no reason for it.
Good. It's not.
And basically every song that I listened to on this album was at least 4.5 to 5.5, almost 6 minutes long. It's just unacceptable. If you can't say it, just cut it out. Stop, because you're not adding anything to something after that.
Sean, I'm looking at the track listens right now. Not many of them go into 4 minutes.
But they feel like they are, and that's what matters.
But they feel like it because it's
the ones that you guys had me listen to were each about 4 minutes to 5 minutes long.
Oh god, well those are the real Italian chef kisses of the entire album.
So you gave me the deep cut ones like right off the bat. You're like, I'm gonna troll this little idiot and get him to listen to like.
I mean, the rest of it's just all just so unmemorable. It's.
I think that's a good point, Tyler, because we did pick just a few songs to have Sean focus on. And I think the reason that I like 44876, the title track, is that it's memorable. Like, say what you will about the cheesiness of the production. Like, that's kind of a, do you like reggae and do you like your reggae cheesy value judgment, right? But at least that song is memorable. Like, I think Shaggy's verses on that song are actually good. Like, his flow is pretty decent. And there's not a lot of Sting on it. And when he's in there, he's just kind of like singing hooks, which is really like what I wanted this album to be.
Right.
I heard that track and I was like, well, this, like, if it's all this, it's not really for me, but at least it's, it's okay. The problem I had is that when you get to the second track, Morning is Coming, and then you start working your way deeper and deeper, not only are the songs forgettable, like you were saying, but it feels like they want to give both Sting and Shaggy, like, the same amount of space on every song.
Right.
And so on, like, the ballady singing songs, you have Sting doing his Sting thing, which I'm not a huge fan of, but let's set that aside.
What is it? What is his Sting thing?
And then his croony...
Say words slowly and say the shittiest words imaginable.
Yeah, his croony, slow singing and... Yeah, not great lyrics, but... I mean, they feel like Police B-sides.
Okay, but that's... Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. That was one thing I was going to kind of credit this album to, was that Sting doesn't really leave his lane when he plays this album. Like, even listening right now to 44876, you guys think that he's, like, trying to do this fake Caribbean accent, but I don't think he is. Like, he's being Sting. I don't know how familiar you are with the Police. Maybe I might be arguably the most familiar one on this podcast with the Police.
Sean is.
Yes, you are. I cede that to you, sir.
My father is on the record as saying that he hates the police, and therefore I hate the police by proxy because I wasn't forced to listen to them growing up. Also,
but I think this is right up Sting's alley.
I don't know. I kind of agree with you because, like, Sting has always been kind of into that reggae sound in a way, but there are just parts of this that feel so forced.
No, you're right, though. It's weird hearing a drum machine and, like, so much synth when you know that Sting is a
grown man.
Very accomplished musician. And same way with Shaggy, like, he's a good lyricist.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is, like, I just feel like there's potential in both of them that is kind of squandered by this whole, like, equal time situation, because I really don't, like, going back to the ballad example, I don't need Shaggy ad-libbing in between, like, lines in a ballad.
Yeah.
And that happens all over the place on this record. It's like Sting is talking about, like, how much he loves this girl, or that, like, he is willing to wait for her love or whatever. And in between lines, Shaggy's just, like, dropping in 2 and 3 words, like, I'm still here, I'm still Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Like,
and
it's
like,
it's like
okay,
what
I
you
get
imagine when someone tells, like, 2 kindergartners to collaborate. They're like, all right, we have to divide this up completely 50%. And if we don't evenly divide this, then we're not collaborating. It's like, no.
I mean,
50% of every song.
Right.
They can't just have, like...
And honestly, 44876 at 2 minutes and 59 seconds seems a little bit short.
Yeah, you could have a little more of that song. Especially, Morgan Heritage does a really great feature on that track, and I wish they gave him more to do. Like, I would love another feature verse in there. But let's move on from there and talk about some other songs. I mean, Tyler and I both kind of picked, like, the title track, and then we had Sean listen to each of our least favorite songs. So, I don't know, Tyler, do you want to go first? Do you want to talk about your least favorite?
Well, I mean... It really was a toss-up between... There's between... Well, okay. They're my least favorites because I remembered them. Let's just be clear. and so, Morning is Coming is bad because... I distinctly remember someone reading, like, I read, like, a tweet or, like, someone's take on it, and they're like, my favorite part about Morning Coming is that, like, Sting is singing about a morning or a nightingale, and then he's like, here you go, Shaggy, this is you're the nightingale, sing it away. So you just then imagine him as a bird singing this song to Sting, and that's just...
if I wake up in the morning to the sound of Shaggy singing to me from the branches of a tree, I have taken some kind of drug that I should not be on.
And it's just a song that you're just kind of like it kind of bops like a little bit. You're like almost into it, but that just means you're gonna remember it. Like when you absolutely don't want to remember that song, you're like, why is this? What is this hell that I'm in? I'm in Sad Trombone because I mean it's called Sad Trombone, and he refers to a woman as a sad trombone.
Oh, I didn't believe that song when I first listened to it. Like the whole chorus of "You remind me of a sad trombone," and just like, it's so weird. Like the whole vibe of the song is weird.
Yes, my name for you is Sad Trombone.
Yeah, that's what it is. My name for you is Sad Trombone, which is in some ways worse.
Something in your intonation, something in your tone. Always understated, never overblown. Wow.
Ugh.
Sad Trombone.
This is interesting. So I'm listening to Waiting for the Break of Day right now, and it honestly feels like Sting's kind of stuck in the police mode.
Yeah, in that track in particular, along with 22nd Street, it really feels like he's trying to go back to being in the police for a minute.
Right. And that's what, the more I listen to this, the more I kind of wonder if there was some kind of like dual goal that was going on with this, where it was Shaggy trying to become more established using the Sting name, because he's been gone for a while. Not that he's not like an established artist and that he doesn't have name recognition or anything that sells him very short. And also, but I feel like also Sting uses Shaggy as a way to kind of like come into the future, maybe. Like this is supposed to be Sting's new club break, where he kind of finally makes this transformative hip hop album with a known artist as well, but it just doesn't connect.
Yeah, you can really see him like telegraphing that intention, right? And it's funny you bring that up, because in the Pitchfork review, one of the first things they do is talk about like, why did Sting choose to work with Shaggy? Because you know that has to be the way this decision went. So like he could have worked with Damian Marley, He could have worked with Toots from Toots and the Maytals. He could have worked with the Wailers, like Michael Franti. There are so many amazing reggae artists that he could have worked with who are more established as like long-term names in the reggae genre, but he went with Shaggy. And so you have to wonder, like, do they really have that close of a personal relationship? Or is it like Sting thinks that Shaggy has a legitimacy that he can bring to the project? I don't really know like what the thinking was there.
Mm-hmm.
Or was Shaggy just the first like black artist he found that he was like, you think I'm cool? Yay! He's like, let's collab. Shaggy's like, all right.
No, I feel like maybe there was some opportunity that went down. Like they were both looking for something that they found in each other. Or, I mean, it honestly, it probably is most likely just a collab between established artists. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't unheard of. Them Crooked Vultures is a big thing. Like, this has been going on in rock and roll for a long time. I don't know why. I just think about, like, Josh Homme from the Queens of the Stone Age. Just really sticks out.
Well, he's kind of notorious for doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
But you look at, like, another reggae example. There was, oh gosh, the one that Mick Jagger was in. Oh, what was the name of that supergroup? Hang on, I gotta find it. Superheavy, which was Mick Jagger, Joss Stone, A.R. Rahman, who is an Indian music composer, Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics, and then Damian Marley. Like, those are all big names, and they did one album together that was just fine and kind of disappeared. But again, like, it is kind of strange to see such a strong, like, genre style as reggae, for example, be, like, the place where artists meet. Right, because when you look at another supergroup like them Crooked Vultures or Dead Weather or something like that, they're usually more like traditional kind of rock bands. Even if you consider like Gorillaz a supergroup of sorts, they're largely a pop band. Doing like a established artist collaboration in reggae is just interesting. Like, you don't see that every day.
Well, I mean, I think number one, probably all of us we're regionally not very close to probably big reggae acts or interest.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge thing for us growing up in the Midwest.
Right. Like, it's kind of like country or jazz. You know, you're kind of like, they are a little more narrow, a little more niche.
Or blues.
You know, like, I'm sure they don't listen to country music
in Jamaica.
Anywhere else.
Well, it's...
Except maybe... Yeah, well, no, go ahead.
It's interesting, though, that you bring that up, because I wanted to talk about my least favorite song on 44876, which kind of deals with this, Dreaming in the USA, which is a strange fusion of reggae and kind of Motown pop, with a lot of references to, you know, both Sting and Shaggy growing up and idolizing American movie stars and American musicians and listening to Marvin Gaye. And it, like, even the premise of the song sounds cheesy when you speak it out loud, but listening to it, it's like one of the cheesiest pieces of music I've heard in a long time. I don't get how this song got made.
Oh yeah, they just whip out the glockenspiel, the fucking breakdown. You're like, hell yeah, I'm into this.
The only blue jeans I wear are from the USA. Like, who writes a lyric like that?
That's a hill to die on.
And the worst part is, the hook is super catchy, like Tyler was talking about. It's going to be stuck in my head for like a week, and I hate it.
It's unfortunate this isn't a visual podcast, because I'm wiggling. That's the only way I could call it. You know, all those the good folks down at the country club are just gonna wiggle to this all night.
Well, and it's weird because, like, Sting's verses are all about, like, these cultural things that he looked up to, and then Shaggy tries to take it to a political place for a second, and then it doesn't really land, and they just kind of move on from having any sort of message. Like, everything about this song just feels like poorly executed, and I don't know what happened.
I mean, somebody's got to make some money off this, right? Like,
oh, I'm sure they're both making a ton of money off of this. I'm sure their concert tour is going to do great.
I don't know who this is for. I just have no idea. I mean, if I feel this strongly about it, then it's clearly not for me. Like, I feel like maybe there's some things that are just not meant for me. Like, I've never understood what adult contemporary is like a genre. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm not an adult yet.
I think if you ripped all of the reggae out of this album, it becomes an adult contemporary album. So basically, like, a Sting solo album.
Is it VH1? Is that what adult contemporary?
Kind of.
Is it Michelle Branch?
Yes. Yes, it's Michelle Branch. It's Air Supply. It's, to a certain degree, Kansas.
Kansas?
To a degree.
Okay. That's pretty, okay, that's fine. I'm not here to...
Would you agree with that assessment, Sean?
What?
Never mind.
No, sorry, I was looking up something for a segue.
I was trying to give Tyler examples of adult contemporary things, and we were saying like Michelle Branch, Air Supply, Kansas.
Yeah.
The Fray, Maroon 5. Anybody who you could...
Sting solo records.
Yeah, anybody who you could like turn on the rock radio, like contemporary rock radio, and would be on there. Anybody who would hear in the grocery store.
If they play it on Warm 98 in Cincinnati.
Ooh.
198. Still got that in my head. Burnt in there.
Burned in your brain forever from every dentist or orthodontist appointment you ever went to.
Uh-huh. Ooh, Smash Mouth. That's all contemporary.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Ripperoni.
So, I mean...
It became more like a kid's bop than adult contemporary, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's contemporary music for adults.
Yeah. No, we've been dunking on this album pretty hard, but I do think, there are a couple of moments on here that are pretty good. And like Sean was saying earlier, I think they're the moments where Sting forgets that he's not in the police anymore. Waiting for the Break of Day is legitimately a well-written song. It's not the catchiest thing on here, but it's good. 22nd Street feels like a police song in the best way. I guess to a certain degree... sorry, I'm trying to find the name of the track. To a certain degree, Night Shift is a good song. I think it's a well-written song, but it's just not really a executed song. There are things to like about this album, but I just don't feel like there's anything here to love, which is really unfortunate for the caliber of artists that are working on it. Also, kudos to the backing band. The backing band is just rock solid throughout, which really isn't all that surprising, to be honest, because... I assume they're probably musicians that tour with Sting and or Shaggy on the regular.
22nd Street sounds like a little bit more developed elevator music.
Yeah, like there's not a lot going on in it.
It does start off real fucking good.
I just think like lyrically it's very well written.
It's not that good though. It's like...
Alright.
Yeah, I mean
it's like contemporary jazz.
It's nothing you would love, but you could like it.
With like an old Roland V5 electric drum set or something like that.
Yes, thank you. All of the drums on this album sound like...
No, because it's done through machines.
80s electric drums.
It's completely done through machines.
Like they couldn't just get a live drum on that?
No way. The first song on the album, 44-876, there's no way that there's even like a live percussionist that could have even done this.
Well, on that song, but on the rest of the album, it's just straightforward reggae drumming.
Which you can find loops for that easily.
Yeah, but it's Sting. He can afford a drummer.
Yeah, no, he has... Stuart Copeland is arguably the best drummer to ever have lived.
So then why use a drum machine?
Because you're just trying to make money.
It's true.
Which is sad.
All right. Final thoughts. Sting and Shaggy, 44-876. Is it what you expected?
Yes. Is it what I wanted? No. Will I ever return this album? No. Sorry. Sorry to delay that reaction. I thought that...
I thought you were really contemplating that for a second. I was like, what is he waiting for?
I thought I would take a moment to contemplate my thoughts, but truly in my heart, all along I knew was a no.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Sean?
Was it what I thought it was going to be? No. Was it something that I wanted? Not that I'm aware of consciously. Is it unprecedented? Also, no. I posted to us internally, Hey Baby by No Doubt, which was recorded in Jamaica and had a vocal track that by Bounty Killer.
Who might as well be Shaggy.
That was added. Well, that's not the truth.
Whoa.
That's like calling Jay-Z and Kanye the same person. It's not the truth. It's not true.
Well, no, it's more that like Shaggy could have easily featured on that track. Does that make sense? Like,
no.
Shaggy was active at the same time and working in the same style of music, and it could have been Shaggy just as easily as it could have been Bounty Killer. Like,
maybe.
But anyway, continue.
So, is it unprecedented? No. Did Shaggy leave his natural arc? No. Did Sting leave his natural arc? No. Did they make something that was kind of a beautiful, not what they do? How would I call this? Maybe like a, what are those cookie brownie things called? Blondie? Did they make a Blondie? Yes. They did. If you're a brownie lover, are you going to get a blondie? No. If you're a cookie lover, are you going to get a blondie? Maybe.
Are you a sweet treat
Probably not, though.
lover? You're gonna go for a blondie.
Right.
Wow.
But I don't really think of anybody who's like, I want blondies. You know what I mean? Like, you might see it in the store and be like, oh, I haven't had those in a while. But honestly, come on.
You know, Sean, you're absolutely right. I think that's really where
What?
this album hits for me. Is it what I expected? For the most part. To be honest, I kind of expected a version of It Wasn't Me that featured Sting as like a bonus track. That's really what I wanted.
You know, I would have preferred that.
Give me your best Wasn't Me.
Are we doing this right now?
Do it.
Wasn't me.
Oh, Tyler! That was so good!
I can't follow that up.
Tight.
No, Tyler wins.
I'm glad I dug that one, too.
But no, like Sean said, is this what anybody's really looking for? No. Is it novel? Kind of. At the end of the day, you know, it's the kind of thing that I feel like you could sit on the beach and drink a bunch of Coronas to and kind of forget that it ever happened.
You're right, Taylor. If what you're saying is if you listen to music in the right context, it's good.
It ain't no Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, it falls into that Jimmy Buffett category, right? It's like, other than the one song you know, you really don't need this album. It can basically be the background to a bunch of day drinking. And that's fine. It's just fine.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Just don't make me wait, Tyler. Don't make me wait. All right, so this week for Internet Garbage, keeping with our musical episode here, I've found a new music meme on YouTube, and it's been really interesting to me, and I wanted to share it with you guys and get your thoughts on it. The first example of this that I saw was Rage Against the Machine's Killing in the Name, which I know is a song that Sean likes a lot. So in this meme, you take every other beat out of a song, and sometimes it turns it into a completely different song. And so the first example I found is, like I said, Killing in the Name.
That's not bad.
That's the thing. Like, it kind of comes out as a pretty decent song.
Like, if you didn't know if the vocals weren't there through the chorus, you might not know.
Yeah. And I think the guitar riff on the verses actually sounds really cool. It turns it into a much more straightforward riff than the kind of swinging riff that it has in the normal version. But yeah, like, it really interested me because I was surprised at how well it worked. Tyler, did you have a...
Right around the... I mean, just to answer the question, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think what's pretty neat is around the 155 mark, where it's like they have the guitar solo. It's like it just has like a completely different like feel to it, and it's kind of sick. Like this whole thing is like it's still the same song, right? But I think I don't know. It's just it's not like a cover. It's sort of almost like a new version of it. Like a recut, and I don't know, like it doesn't sound like a song. Like it only sounds like it. Like I only recognize it as Killing the Name of because I've heard it before. So it feels weird to. I wouldn't like it as much if I hadn't heard this song originally before. I don't know. You said this is a meme, right?
Yeah. So let's see another example.
What's a song I haven't heard?
Closer by 9 Inch Nails with every other beat missing.
It's impossible to know the difference up first, with the exception of it being slightly sped up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is actually really good.
Right?
This is actually pretty good.
Does this just make every song bop? Is how it's going on?
But I think, remember, what makes this a little bit easier is that when he writes, it's very, like, Trent Reznor doesn't write rock and roll. Trent Reznor writes, like, very EDM-esque stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, it's already rhythmically, like, very pulsive. And, like, so that just lends itself really well to this, which is fine. That's not a complaint at all. But, like, if you did this on, like, I'm trying to think of who has, like, a really... First thing comes to mind is Black and White Motorcycle Club. It's because they have that, like, up and down tempo a lot. Like, if they had that, like, rock and roll feel, this would sound almost probably unbearable.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Of course, this version, the closer one, has gotten a lot of traction because in the chorus, it sounds like Trent Reznor wants to fuck an owl. Which Reddit has found absolutely hilarious. I like that part of it. Here's another example, a song that we're all intimately familiar with, Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes.
Oh, thank you. I was going to ask you, could you put, like, a White Stripes one on here?
Yeah, come on, where's the Stripes, people?
I think that's the other thing with this is, like, when you take out those second beats, it does give it a more, like, jazzy feel. It has a little more, like, that, like, ting, 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 because you just, like, when you crunch it, and that's easy from a drumming standpoint because you almost annihilate all of that in between.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, there's distinctly more snare drum hits in this kind of stuff than there regularly is because you're getting rid of all those in between. I'd be interested to hear what it sounds like if you did, like, a 1-3 versus a 2-4.
That's part of what I wanted to ask you about as a drummer is it seems like all of these are done as 2-4s. And I'm wondering, like, would it sound like anything if it was a 1-3? Because I'm not sure it would. And since we did one of Sean's favorites, we have to do one of Tyler's. Of course. You know, it's gotta be the Shooting Stars song.
Oh, yeah. I was like, please, it's not YMCA. That one was not very good.
This actually works surprisingly well.
I mean, there's very little words, so it does make it easy to just, like, it's just a song.
But I think it supports Sean's EDM theory, too, of, like, EDM is more susceptible to this trick.
But the thing is, it's not like it's new. Like, you can use there's a filter, there's, like, an effect you can buy for your guitar that does this kind of, like, pulsating thing, and you can connect it to a pedal and have it, like, speed up and then slow down it's like a tremolo. That's what it is. But you can just play it on tempo and have it, like, cut out stuff like this, which is fun to do. That's why the concept wasn't, like, foreign to me completely. But, like, yeah, EDM is a lot easier to listen to. This kind of reminds me of the segment you had us do where it was like every time they say something, it speeds up.
Yeah, it feels in that vein. And there are just an absolutely insane number of these, like, in the vein of songs in places. Like, just type Every Other Beat Is Missing into YouTube and you get hundreds. It's, you know, Living on a Prayer, the Mortal Kombat theme, Another One Bites the Dust, Smooth Criminal, Enter Sandman, Despacito, Sail by AWOL Nation, Immigrant Song, Sound of Silence, Toto's Africa.
What if Sail just takes out Sail completely and there's just...
I mean, I feel like we have to close with that, right? Like, we have to hear what happens if there's no Sail. I actually like this more. It feels like...
It kind of sounds like Cold as Ice.
It does sound like Cold as Ice, you're right. Ooh, when you get to the, like, prolonged chorus, it's really bad, though.
It's not that bad. I mean, I guess if you wanted to figure out what band is really good at recording, this would be an easy way to do it, because if it sounds like garbage on here, you know that they can't play on time in real life.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. But yeah, these are really fun and interesting, so listeners should definitely check this out and tweet in their favorite ones to us.
Oh my god, Take On Me is pretty good.
I was just about to listen to that.
You just need to listen to that because it's really good.
All right, everybody, it's time to end the show like we always do with a round of shameless plugs. From the panel, we will start with Tyler Reed. Tyler, if the people can't find love, where can they find you on the social media?
Hey, everybody. You can find my design and illustration work at tylerdreed.com, and you can find me on Twitter as @SneezyPanda, sorry, and Instagram as TDRDesign.
I'm so glad Sneezy Panda is back.
Got it back, baby. Some douchebag stole it from me when I changed my name because I didn't understand how display names worked, like in 2013. Finally just asked him again, and he gave it back. Fuck yeah.
Gosh, Tyler was Sneezy Panda on Twitter in, like, 2007 when we all joined the first time.
Yeah, because you better believe that name would have gotten taken so quick.
It was so culturally relevant at the time. Sean Evans, don't make me wait. Where can I find you on Twitter?
You can find me on Twitter at RealCashOtter. But please, I've really been thinking about getting a new handle on there. So if anybody wants to help me, please help me. I made a mistake, guys. I made a mistake.
You did. You really did.
Please help.
I have been your host, Taylor Olmstead, here dreaming in the USA. And you can find me on the socials as @TC Olmstead. You can like and follow the show @Dudes Brunch. If you like what we do here and never want us to review another Sting and Shaggy album again, please leave us a review on iTunes or recommend us on Overcast. Thanks so much for bearing with us through this reggaeton hellscape, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Dudes Brunch.
I said I just got more interested in the Staggy Sting.
What?
How long have you been day drinking?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, like an hour or two. After 5, it's not day drinking anymore.